and let us all do we can to build a better future. The smears are coming. Here they come. Corporate media is now in full force to smear and once again call the other Democratic primary challengers long shot candidates. That's right. Marianne Williamson, RFK Jr. are long shots. And apparently, all the media is trying to dismiss the first two primaries. That's Iowa and New Hampshire. Because in the big brain move of starting off in South Carolina, Joe Biden's name will not be on the ballot potentially in Iowa and New Hampshire, which could potentially cost Joe Biden to lose those two primaries. So I want to give a huge shout out to Case Study QB who found this gem, because we got a couple of incidents of corporate media saying that these two are long shot candidates. Now, again, we are very clear. Let's be very honest with each other. Corporate media will never call out the fact that the DNC has already picked who their candidate's going to be. And they made it very clear that there will be no debates, even though people are demanding there to be more debates. Let's check this out.
President Biden has signaled a desire to give big, diverse states like South Carolina a larger role in his party's nominating process. Back in December, Biden asked Democratic leaders to switch up the party's primary calendar for 2024. He asked for South Carolina to go first and leapfrog less diverse states like New Hampshire and Iowa. But last February, when the DNC officially voted to adopt South Carolina's promotion to the front of the pack, New Hampshire and Iowa were not happy. New Hampshire officials said they would ignore the change and argued that state law requires them to hold the presidential primary at least 1 week before any other state. Officials in Iowa have announced they're in the process of holding their contest on the same day as the Republican caucus, which is in January, also at the very front of the calendar. And here is where things could get weird. If Iowa or New Hampshire go rogue, President Biden, the man who is almost certain to win the Democratic nomination, may be forced to keep.
Now, again, corporate media is saying that he's certain to win, which is one of the few times corporate media is being honest. The DNC, the superdelegates, are all invested into Biden. All the major unions, including the National Nurses United, way to abuse your followers, National Nurses United, are all behind Joe Biden. So the scale is already tipped in Biden's favor. But this is an issue because now there is this overall assumption that maybe Biden has this in the bag, that maybe, again, they're taking all of their voters for granted.
Keep his name off those ballots for noncompliance. And that means that long shot candidates like anti-vaxxer Robert Kennedy Jr. or spiritual advisor Marianne Williamson, either of them could win the first two Democratic nominating contests of the year. If that scenario somehow does end up playing out, the DNC has warned it will strip those states of their national convention delegates, meaning.
Did you hear that? They're cheating. So that means the Democrats in Iowa and New Hampshire, that's right, vote blue no matter who. Turns out your party is telling you to shut up and follow orders. Now, the thing is, if you are a Democratic voter, just remember, you really don't matter. A political party is doing this. Now, if the Republicans did this, people in the vote blue no matter who crowd be saying, oh no, I told you the Republican parties were always fascist. Look at this. They're saying Democrats in Iowa and New Hampshire could defy, even as the party warns it will strip them of their national convention delegates. So even if RFK Jr. or Marianne Williamson, if either of them were to win any of those two states, or one wins one and the other wins the other, their delegates will not matter. I really can't wait for the Chicago convention. Marianne Williamson supporters, RFK Jr. supporters, I hope that both your candidates are going to be sincere enough with you and fight to the bitter end. I want this election cycle to intensify. I want the DNC to implode. I want it to fall apart. Vote blue no matter who. Come at me with your fear tactics. Come at me with the fact, oh no, if we don't support Biden, Trump's going to win. With this kind of stuff, yeah, Trump's going to have it in the bag.
Their primaries would ultimately not count. Tomorrow in Minneapolis, the DNC's Rules and Bylaws Committee plans to review and potentially finalize the primary plan. That is the show for tonight. I'll see you again tomorrow. And now it's time for the last.
No, I don't want to hear you. But listen to this. We return back to BS DNC, asking if Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is a legit Democrat primary threat.
Quinnipiac poll, Elise, and it finds President Biden is leading the Democratic primary field with 70%. You have Robert F. Kennedy Jr. with 17%. When it comes to favorability, Kennedy is viewed favorably by 49%, unfavorably hits 30%. 45% see President Biden favorably, 52% unfavorably. Is RFK Jr. a legit primary threat to President Biden?
RFK Jr. has terrific named ID just based on who he is and the legacy that he was born into. And I think that the polling really reflects that more than he's getting a really serious look from Democratic primary voters.
There's a new.
But continuing on, what will it cost Biden?
What about what Axios is saying, Robert, that Biden could lose the first two 2024 contests to RFK Jr., and that's because if Iowa and New Hampshire end up holding primaries before South Carolina, President Biden won't be on those ballots. If that were to happen, how much does it matter?
None. Because because again, it's not about votes in either of these primaries. It's how you accrue delegates. And if Joe Biden's not on the ballot, then the Democratic Party won't sanction that state as awarding delegates at the contest, and therefore Robert F. Kennedy Jr. can do whatever he wants to in two states with no delegates, and it'll mean no difference.
Now, here's the thing. What corporate media and the establishment don't want you to look into too much is ideally they want this fight between Biden and Trump to happen again. The Democrats want Trump to be that opponent. And remember, the Democrats would rather lose to Trump than have somebody else win the White House. Now, RFK Jr., whatever your opinion of him might be, he comes at the establishment with a different perspective. And we've already covered how the fact that there's a lot of people, especially in the Silicon Valley, how they want to support RFK Jr. RFK Jr. has a whole other different type of establishment backing him up. It's oligarchs versus oligarchs, in my opinion. But nonetheless, what does it say to people who support RFK Jr. and Marianne Williamson? That the DNC is going to do everything they can to cheat your candidates. They're going to do everything they can to make sure to force you and browbeat you and yell at you to vote for Biden. Now, we saw how this play out in 2016. Hillary Clinton lost to a reality TV show clown. And this very well could happen again. And in 2020, before anyone says, well, Biden beat Trump, yeah, barely, by the skin of his teeth. And it wasn't just because of popular vote. It's because Biden won the correct amount of electoral colleges. But here's the thing to everybody who's part of the Democratic establishment. The DNC is doing everything they can to cheat, to deprive you and your state the ability to weigh in on the convention that's going to take place in my city of Chicago in 2024. You don't have a seat at the table. The establishment doesn't like you. They don't think about you. They don't respect you. The DNC behind closed doors has already picked Joe Biden to be their nominee. And let's be clear here, a vote for Biden is a vote for Kamala. Can you imagine her as president? Yeah, vote blue no matter who. Kamala Harris, who has been hemorrhaging staffers, who has been unable to really effectively do her job as vice president. Has she done anything groundbreaking or monumental? Everything that she has touched has turned to an epic failure. She is a clown person. She's nothing but a failure and a failed politician whose campaign would belly up in 2020. Who got destroyed by Tulsi Gabbard not once, but twice. And I said that just to trigger the vote blue no matter who people.
Look, Joe Biden is going to be the nominee of the Democratic Party. Bobby Kennedy Jr. is not going to be the nominee. Alex, let's go back for a second, though, with no labels. I think it's important for people to understand the only impact that no labels and their nominee could have in 2024 is to almost certainly siphon votes away from the Democrat and help elect a Republican and help potentially elect Donald Trump. If you go on their website, they...
Oh, no, here's where it comes out. If you support anybody else but Biden, you're helping Trump. I'm not going to vote for Joe Biden. And I'm not going to vote for Donald Trump. I'm going to vote independent third party. And if that pisses off the vote blue no matter who crowd, oh, good. Good. I'm actually doing this on purpose just to get you angry. And I encourage my supporters, the viewers of my show, to vote independent, vote third party, vote green, vote libertarian, vote independent. Hell, and if you don't want to vote, fine. But I'll ask you to vote for citizen ballot initiatives if you live in a citizen ballot initiative state. That's the only thing I'll ask you to do. But at no point in time should my vote be given to a politician that I don't respect, that has been lying to the American people, that has been failing to do his job. And this goes for all politicians, Democrat and Republican. It's time for all of us to be free thinkers. It's time for all of us to break away from the two-party neoliberal establishment system. And it's long past due that we show these politicians the same amount of disrespect that they've been giving us for years. Nothing has fundamentally changed under Joe Biden, but yet corporate media is doing these smears. And I hope RFK Jr. and Marianne Williamson are going to be prepared. I hope they fight to the bitter end and be consistent. I would like that to happen. But I don't think that's going to happen. But who knows? Maybe this convention will be entertaining. And that's all I really want to see.
They suggest that they can get 37% of the popular vote and 282 electoral votes. Now, if you think that sounds a bit outlandish, they think they can win Texas, Florida, Montana, and Illinois. That's delusional. The likelihood that that is going to happen is zero. All right. They are spending millions and millions of dollars, and all they're going to do is siphon votes, anti-Trump votes away from Democrats.
What about
Good. 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 Fantastic. Hey, let's have democracy in the chat. Are you happy that the DNC could very well struggle and getting its just dues after so many years of being disrespectful to the American people? Type 1 for, oh no, Kit. The Democratic Party has our best interests at heart. The Democratic Party cares about us. Type 2, like, hell no. I'm eating the popcorn and I'm more than willing to contribute to the Democratic Party imploding and sinking like the Titanic. You know what? Better yet. We're going to rewind that. Just a little bit.
That is going to happen is zero. All right. They are spending millions and millions of dollars, and all they're going to do is siphon votes, anti-Trump votes away from Democrats.
what about
As they should. As they should. As they should. And I find it funny. I encourage this. I want to see more of this. This should happen. But I want to pull out this other video here. It's from CNN. Again, shout out to Case Study QB. I don't know how you're able to sit through corporate media, buddy, but you're made out of stronger stuff than me. He truly is. Let's play this video. Apologies. It is from CNN. Hashtag force the debate.
The Republican race is so vastly different than the Democratic one. Obviously, the president is the only one in the race compared to, I mean, we have Marianne Williamson, we have a few others, but the only serious contender, there's not going to be debates. And so I think the concern there is a little bit less just because of that factor. But remember, when we get to a general, he's still going to be up against potentially somebody who has raised a lot of money. The Republican.
Yeah. So there we go. There's CNN's analysis. Thank you, Case Study QB, for only that 30-second video clip. So what can we take away from all of this? Corporate media has made its allegiance very clear to the Democratic establishment and to the Biden-Harris administration. They're all on board. They're going to smear RFK Jr. They're going to smear Marianne Williamson. They're going to say that they are long shot candidates. They're going to say that they're going to just hurt the party, which, you know what? I'm glad that it's going to happen. And I do hope that both Marianne Williamson and RFK Jr. actually do something that Bernie the Cuck Sanders would never do, and that is truly have a contested convention. Shake up the DNC. I hope the party does have its little implosion. It's long overdue. Their smugness, their arrogance have constantly gone unchecked, and I think it's time that the DNC gets a reality check on how the American people really view that political party. That's right, Bernie Sanders and AOC. That political movement that you built so long ago, it is gone. Gone and forgotten and in the dust. Voters should vote for who they want. The American people should vote and support somebody that they actually respect. At no point in time to anybody watching this, and I don't care where you stand on the political spectrum, vote for how you feel like. Vote for somebody that has earned your vote. Don't just be forced into it because so many people are pressuring it into you. You tell them to F right off, as people should be doing, as people should have been doing since 2016, 2020, and even before then and going afterwards. I'm not going to give my vote to somebody because, oh no, the orange Cheeto man is running for re-election. I don't care about that. There are problems bigger than who sits in the White House, because the bigger problem is the fact that we have a two-party system controlled by corporate interests. So I'm going to vote how I feel like. And I'm going to vote independent and third party. And if that triggers people, fine. But you're not going to change my mind. And if I'm your villain, if I'm your bad guy, fine. But I also say this, just to stir up the fire even more so. I hope all of you act the same way as well. This is your choice and your vote. Never let anybody on any platform, on social media, in person, force you or make you feel bad in any which way how you're going to vote, if you're going to vote. The establishment and the two-party system want to control the narrative. All it needs is your silent, obedient consent. And I think at this point in time, people are getting angry. So I'm looking forward to 2024 here in Chicago when the DNC hosts its convention. Stay tuned to Hard Lens Media and grab the popcorn.